Okay, hello and welcome to the last weather video of the month of September. Looking at the satellite, you can see here we did actually have some clear skies push in a little bit later. You can see almost this is like a cold front off to the north there, but it was another record breaker today. Ice slip, we tied the record of 85 on Friday, and today we, I believe, broke the record. So the ice slip record report for today, record high temperature set of 84 degrees. That breaks the old record of 80 degrees. So we broke it by 4 degrees today. So yeah, today was very warm. I'm sure we're probably running above normal for the month. Also, Newark also broke a record as well. Newark also had a record high temperature of 80. Was it 89 degrees today, almost 90. Then that breaks the old record of 87 set back in 2014. So two records broken today. Just incredible. And if we look at ice slip, you'll see that the high of 84, a record, is a full 13 degrees above normal. The low of 66, 12 degrees above normal, putting us 13 degrees above normal for the day. Still only 1.58 inches. We did get a little bit of rain last night. Not much. And we'll look at all that when we go to the map. And yes, we will talk about the tropics as well, but I'll get the local stuff out of the way. First, obviously, we did have some clear skies during the afternoon, so I did go outside in the warmth. And Bright Waters had a breeze. I wanted to go back to Bright Waters. I was there earlier last week. There's really some nice parks there, and you can see a little bit of fall color coming out there, and of course, plenty of beautiful pines to look at there. Very beautiful area to walk around. And there was a sea breeze there. However, when I was up in Deer Park, there was not a sea breeze. Before I kind of caught the bus over there, but I could feel the wind going back and forth. The sea breeze front that was over us, which you can't see in this satellite image. I would have to go back a little more to show you that sea breeze front. Let's see if we can show it to you. I don't know if you can sort of see it there. It really doesn't show up too well, but there was a sea breeze front. If you go to the MODIS, maybe you'd see it. But there was a sea breeze front with a few cumulus that had popped up across the area. Looking at our current conditions right now, 72 at ice slip, 71 at ice slip now. Of course, the alley's like 75. Notice the dew point is 67. It's humid out there. So very humid out there, and show you what the day was like here. And you'll see here that, again, we had started, you can see we had a northwest wind and a west wind, and then shifted to the southwest right around 3 o'clock. And then the temperature sort of dropped. You can see right there it's a temperature drop, but the humidity the humidity kind of stayed steady, but the humidity was definitely up there today. And definitely made things kind of uncomfortable across the area. For the highs, we'll just look at the map of highs across the area. And, of course, if you were in Jersey, it was much hotter. Northern Jersey, particularly. Actually, Toms River, not so bad, 82 degrees. Probably because they had the cirrus clouds filtering the sunshine there, so probably reduced the amount of solar radiation that they would have normally had, I guess. And the lows, obviously, at night, lows in the mid-60s. Very August-like weather today. Definitely not not typical of September at all whatsoever. And you can see our weather map here. You can see that there's a cold front off to the north. There's Hurricane Humberto and Imelda. We're going to talk about those two as well. And you see that front kind of just dissipates tomorrow. You can see that front kind of just dissipate. So let's go and look at some of the Oh yeah, we can go back to this map here, and we'll look at precipitation. Show you what we got in the past 24 hours, and really wasn't a whole lot. We had some light rain last night, but really didn't amount to very much. 0.03, 0.1. This is like really not a lot of rain at all. So very little. Remained very, very dry. I'm going to see if the drought monitor upgraded us at all. We are not upgraded yet, but I'm going to look at that when it's next released on Thursday. And we're going to see what it says, because definitely think we could. We're definitely in a situation where we would go into a drought. At least I think we're in a moderate drought. I don't agree with their findings at all. And again, just showing you what was going on today. So let's see. So I was over here. I was right around this area. So I want to see something for a minute because we're going to look at some of these observations. And that breeze kept switching back and forth on me, that sea breeze front. And I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, there's the sea breeze right there. See, yeah, the wind's kind of northwest, northeast, and northwest. Actually, they never shifted at all at this site, which is interesting. So I wonder if the sea breeze ever made it up there. That's Deer Park. So I was over here. I had to take 2 buses to get to where I wanted to go because I didn't want to wait in Wyandanch. But anyway, let's go to the larger satellite view, and then we're going to talk about what we got going on in the tropics here. And you can see we've got Humberto over here. And here's Imelda getting itself together. Look at Humberto. Just still very, very powerful hurricane. Incredible. So let's go to the latest in the National Hurricane Center on Hurricane Humberto. All right, and let's see if we can here we go. Latest public advisory. Air Force hurricane hunters currently investigating Humberto. This is the 8 p.m. advisory. Its location is 25.8 north, 65.7 west, about 550 miles north-northwest of the northern Leeward Islands, about 450 miles south of Bermuda. Maximum sustained winds are 145 miles an hour. So it's weakened to a Category 4, but it's still a very powerful Category 4. Moving northwest at 13 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 928 millibars, 27.40 inches. And the eye of Hurricane Humberto is located near latitude 25.8. All right, we kind of read that already. So the center of Humberto will pass well west and then north of Bermuda Tuesday and Wednesday. It is a Category 4 hurricane. Fluctuations in intensity are possible during the next day or so, with gradual weakening forecast after that, but Humberto is expected to remain a dangerous major hurricane for another couple of days. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 45 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 185 miles from the center. So the storm is getting bigger. We always see that of evolution. As it makes its way north, the storm grows. But this is the cone right here. We'll look at this cone, and you will see here that it is Bermuda is now in a tropical storm watch. They're not going to have a direct hit, but they will feel some effects. And we may see some effects also of the waters on the waters here as well. But you can see that it does take that recurvature out to sea. And we'll go ahead and look at some satellite imagery from Humberto. We'll first go over here. And again, this is what a satellite image this is here. I love that one. That is probably going to be our thumbnail right there because that looks really amazing. Let's go look at Humberto first. So here's Humberto. Still got that classic buzzsaw look. Still very powerful hurricane. Looks like it might be going through an eye wall replacement cycle, a few of those. Let's go to GLM flash intensity. This kind of tells us you're still seeing a good amount of convection around, lightning, so that indicates the hurricane is maintaining its strength and could strengthen possibly again. Next, we will go and we will look at our next hurricane, which is Imelda, and that one is more of a threat, closer a threat. But however, some good news with this in the track, and we'll first read the public advisory. Imelda continues northward, so tropical storm Imelda as of 8 p.m. 24.7 north, 77.1 west, about 30 miles southeast of the northwestern Bahamas, and about 335 miles southeast of Cape Canaveral, Florida. Maximum sustained winds are 40 miles an hour, moving north at 9 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure 998 millibars, 29.47 inches. We do have tropical storm warnings now in effect for the Bahamas, for much of the Bahamas, tropical storm warning, and I believe that there is a watch this is not showing on this map, but if we go to the weather and hazards, which I closed out, but if we go there, you'll see that there is something here, and we have, that is for the offshore waters. It looks like we have a tropical storm warning in effect for the offshore waters, the east coast of Florida. So Imelda is the one that's going to have a little more direct impact on the U.S. mainland. We'll go look at the cone here, and you'll see here those are all the warnings, and then you can see it does become a hurricane fortunately it becomes a hurricane as it curves east, and it's actually Humberto is going to be taking Imelda with it. Yeah, that's what's going on now. That's the latest in the Fujiwara saga that they have. When we go look at the models, you'll see that. Let's go take a look at Imelda on the satellite here. Imelda's not quite as impressive to look at as Humberto, but you can definitely see convection flaring up. We'll go to the GLM flash intensity, plenty of lightning there, so good amount of convection. And it's probably main thing is going to be it's going to be dropping a lot of rain right now because the winds aren't all that strong with Imelda. All right, we'll go ahead and look at some more more models when it comes to the storm. So here again, another look at Hurricane Humberto. Yeah, just a oh, look at that eye wall just tightened up like that. That's interesting. So this is going through an eye wall replacement. It's like the eye wall just shrank. Very interesting. So maybe it's countering some effects there, but still a very, very powerful major hurricane. If we look at the tracks, you'll see here, fortunately, they all go out to sea. We see that recurvature out to sea. It's peaked. I don't think it'll become a Category 5 again. It's possible it could, but I think it will eventually slowly weaken as it makes its way further north tomorrow. Counter some more shear maybe a little bit, and that should help weaken it a little bit. Imelda. Here's Imelda. And again, kind of disorganized, but I think it will, once it makes it north of the Bahamas, I think it'll look a lot more organized. And these are, again, it's all recurving out to sea. So it's good news to see this. And it looked like it was going to be a bad situation in the Carolinas. But luckily, it looks like it is going to make its way out to sea. So let's go look at the models now. And I guess we'll start with the European. And we'll go ahead and we'll look at the North American view here. As we got to focus on, just trying to, let's do the North American view, just briefly show you what's going on in the upper air here to show you again. So our jet stream, obviously, you see that's going to pick those storms up. And we do have more cooler weather coming in. As we get into October, you start seeing some more troughs. And we'll go in here, we're looking at the GFS to start. And then we'll look at the European, I guess. I thought I had it on the European. But you can see here, see how one storm kind of pulls the other, and it kind of gets caught in a trough offshore, kind of get pushed offshore. But then after we get a little bit of a trough, we get ridging back in the picture, so that could mean more above normal temperatures. Let's go look at the European. We'll go to the 12Z European, so we get a full look. You'll see again, similar deal. See how it kind of gets picked up there. But we do see ridging, so that tends to mean that we're going to be seeing, I think, above normal temperatures with that ridging going on that we're seeing. Seems to be an agreement between the two models pretty much. So temperatures, obviously, if we go to the temperature anomaly chart, you can see we've been way above normal end this month, and we will still be above normal. There will be a cool down as we enter Wednesday, Thursday, but it will be short-lived, and then it looks like the warmth returns, and some really big warmth as well. So in the east, it looks like for October, really major warmth, actually. So well above what we're supposed to be seeing for October. It's absolutely crazy to see temperatures that warm. But as far as what these anomalies would mean, if we were to actually look at the actual air temperatures, you'll see that as we get into, we'll be dealing with 70s, 70s, and maybe even can't even rule out another flirt with 80 as we get further into October. But let's with that out of the way, let's just focus more on. I'm going to go to the eastern U.S. view. We're going to look at the surface, and we're going to take a look and see what the European is doing with these hurricanes and with the 18Z for that one. So here's Humberto. So there's that ridge over there. So it goes around the ridge, and then it gets picked up, and it kind of pulls. It kind of says, "Hey, Imelda, come with me." And that's exactly what happens. It takes Imelda with it, and it goes out. And look at how far south Imelda stays. That's crazy. So because there's a big high that's going to build in, a huge backdoor high again, that's going to build in as we get to the weekend. And with this huge high, it's going to be very dry again. It looks like we're setting up for another very dry pattern here. We want to go a little further along here. There's like no chances for rain at all until we get to the middle of October. So very, very dry. It's going to be staying very, very dry. And this drought is going to get a lot worse with this European run that we are looking at right now. But the good news in this is that the tropical systems, which I hate to say, if we got one of them, would solve our drought, but that's not going to be happening with that high kind of coming in there. Yeah, that's what we got on the European. I mean, the GFS is going to show you the same thing. Here are your two storms. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Humberto's like, hey, Imelda, come with me. Let's go on a date. And they go out to sea. It's nuts. That's what happens. And if you're wondering where they go, or let's kind of have to look at the whole Atlantic. Well, let's see if we can get the North Atlantic here. You kind of show you where they go. Let's switch this over to the European here. So you look at that, where they go. They kind of Humberto eventually gets lost in the westerlies over there, and then Imelda. Who knows what's going to happen with Imelda? Imelda kind of just sits there, and you got to wonder what Imelda could do. Kind of eventually just, I mean, it's just this very, very strange pattern here. Very odd. So, and look at all that ridging. It's just intense off-the-wall ridging from eastern Canada down. So just really crazy stuff. All right, so you kind of get the idea. All right, we're not going to really be dealing with any major effects from any of these storms. Let's go look at the HRRR. Zero's the HRRR. Obviously, there's not going to be any precipitation here. There's nothing. I mean, all that stays to the south. We're not going to have any precipitation right through the whole week. It's going to be dry. The only thing that's going to be an issue is clouds, at least for the next couple of days. So you can see that humid air that we have in place. And it looks like tomorrow the HRRR finally tries to bring in some drier air. For a little bit, at least. We have an east wind. There's like a boundary right over here. So the dew points drop for a little bit. We have an easterly flow. Then they rise again. And then Tuesday, we start to see another sweep of dry air with easterly winds. And if we go ahead and look at the European, which is what I might as well just do already, similar deal. You'll see that drier air eventually build in. That fall-like air is going to really build in. And we're going to have a pretty strong northeast wind. North to northeast wind on Wednesday, turning more easterly on Thursday, and then maybe southerly on Friday. And then by the weekend, we start seeing that westerly wind develop, and that's going to bring in the warmer temperatures as we get in the next weekend. But next weekend looks dry at this point. So west winds, and you can see the west winds there. So that's going to bring in the warmth. So we'll look at the temperatures here. So tomorrow will still be warm, still well into the mid to upper 70s, not quite as warm as today. Similar deal for Tuesday, but then as the cooler air moves in, Wednesday, highs are only going to be around the 70-degree mark, and then we'll be dropping nice and cool at night, probably 50s and 40s. Maybe I'll be able to turn off my air conditioner. Maybe not. And then Thursday, also staying fairly cool as well, highs of 65 to 70. But then as we get into Friday, if you get closer to 70, still staying cool. At night, it's going to be cool again, probably not here. And then we finally see temperatures start warming up into the 70s by the weekend. And then as we get closer to the weekend, we're dealing with temperatures above normal again, 75 to 80. And then next week, it looks like, again, we're dealing with above normal temperatures again, possibly seeing 80 degrees again, which is crazy. So, looking at all that, and I'll go back to the HRRR here in a moment here, so you get an idea of what we got. It's going to be kind of a boring, if you like storms, kind of a boring weather pattern, you could say. So tomorrow, again, warm tomorrow, again, not as warm as today. And then one more warm day on Tuesday, with temperatures again getting close to 80, if not above. And then we finally start seeing things change. Let's go look at clouds, RGEM. So this is what we're going to have. We're going to have these high clouds coming up. That's the only effects we're going to see from the tropical systems. Increasing high clouds tomorrow. And then Tuesday, we're probably still going to have them. And then we should start pushing them off to the south as we get into Wednesday. And that's when we'll start having some mostly sunny conditions as we head into October. And at least a couple of days of some cooler weather. And if we want to go any further than that, we have to look at the GFS, which is a little different. Look a little slower to push those high clouds away, but it looked like maybe by Thursday we would push them away, and then it shows some more high clouds on Friday, and then next weekend looks mostly sunny and more summer-like, and then as we get into next week, well, I'm not going to go that far on the clouds, on the cloud model. So let's go to some of these other sites here. We're just going to go to windy.com, and we are going to look at these hurricanes here on windy.com just to kind of illustrate what's going to be happening. So there's Humberto, and you can see it looks like it gets it stronger again. And then there's Imelda taking shape. And then as Humberto weakens, Imelda will pick up some strength. It won't be as strong as Humberto, though. But Imelda could threaten Bermuda. That one comes a lot closer to Bermuda. So Humberto should miss Bermuda. But Imelda definitely comes a lot closer to it. So that's something we're going to have to watch. I'll put this in wind gusts. You can see that white. That means you got a lot of wind gusts there. So luckily, it makes it's going to avoid Bermuda. But Imelda couldn't hit Bermuda, and it could be a. It looks like if this were the case, it could actually hit Bermuda as a possible Category 3 hurricane, a major hurricane, and then it kind of moves away, as you can see. But there will be effects from these hurricanes on our wind here a little bit. There'll be a little bit of a pressure gradient on Wednesday, particularly. We'll have some breezy conditions, and again, with things so dry, you have to worry about wildfire risk now. We did get some rain last night. It wasn't a lot. It'll certainly help, but I'm a little concerned about that for Wednesday. The other issue, of course, would be the waves. Let's go here and look at that. Because we could see some rough surf as we head into Wednesday. You start seeing that nothing crazy, but there could be some beach erosion, some swells and rip currents and things like that. And then it tends to die down by the weekend. So by the weekend, it should be Friday, especially, it should be mostly back to normal again. All right. We can also look at clouds on this as well if you want. Again, I usually don't use this for clouds, and it kind of illustrates the cirrus here. You can see where the cirrus is, and you can see we're kind of dealing with it on Tuesday. But it won't be overcast, just be filtered sun, and then as we get into Wednesday, things should clear out. We should have some nice weather. Okay, last stop on this weather video is the Climate Prediction Center 6 to 10 day outlook. And you can see above normal temperatures for much of the Northeast and below normal precipitation. This is really bad, too. So we have very high chances of above normal temperatures in the 6 to 10 day, as well as very high chances of below normal precipitation. So we're heading into a very dry situation and quite alarmingly dry situation for wildfire risk, I think, as we head into October. We could see a repeat of what happened last year with those wildfires. And then here we are on the 8 to 14 day. Again, look at that, above normal, excellent chance of above normal temperatures. And then below normal, still seeing below normal precipitation in the Northeast there. So not a good situation. It's going to be we're setting up for a bad situation with drought. And honestly, I'm very concerned about wildfires, particularly here on Long Island. So I would not be surprised if we see some major wildfires within the next week or two, especially as those winds kick up and those low dew points come into play as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. So we might see some red flag warnings and fire danger warnings. And if there are any of those, I'll make a video about it. But anyway, that is all. Have a good night, and at least we're going to have a lot of nice weather. So I guess that's good news, but we really could use more rain. Anyway, that's it. Have a good night.